not make the dead any less so. It does not reduce the horror nor circumscribe the implications. But it may put our fourth story in the countdown, terrorist bombings in the city we know as, have known anyway, as Bombay in India, in some context. The original terrorists, the ones who were duped or drugged into believing they would be rewarded with virgins in heaven if they carried out political murders, they were in a cult called the Ashishin, or the Assassins. Their reign of terror began in the 11th century. After it ended about 1272 AD, the assassins and their families began to call themselves instead Thojas or Maulas, and their descendants today live throughout the Middle East, but primarily in India, and they acknowledge as their titular leader the Aga Khan of Bombay. That Indian city is now known as Mumbai, and it is, at this hour, still numb with horror. A series of 8 bombs exploding on the city's commuter rail network at the height of the evening rush hour, killing at least 163, wounding more than 400. Authorities are calling it a well-coordinated terrorist attack. Just the latest reminder in a matter of days that here at home, public transportation could be an easy target. Amid signs that the U.S.-led war on terror is confronting other new problems of its own. A fresh bout of sectarian violence Tuesday in Iraq, claiming at least 47 lives. Among the incidents, car bombings in Baghdad and in a Sunni area of the city, gunmen ambushing a minibus that was returning from a Shiite funeral. All 10 people on board that bus were killed. A senior Iraqi lawmaker warning the nation is descending into civil war. An Islamic website posting video that purportedly shows the bodies of 2 American soldiers kidnapped and killed south of Baghdad last month. NBC News has decided not to show that video. Militants linked to al-Qaeda now claiming that killings were retribution for the rape of an Iraqi woman by U.S. soldiers last March. Meanwhile, that other major U.S. conflict, Afghanistan, getting a surprise visit Tuesday from the American Secretary of Defense. Mr. Rumsfeld's trip coinciding with the most intense phase of Taliban violence there since the U.S. invasion in 2001. Donald Rumsfeld dismissing the notion that the Pentagon's focus on fighting in Iraq has created a power vacuum in Afghanistan, claiming that any increase in Taliban activity should be attributed to the calendar and to the Pentagon's venerable bookkeeping skills.
To some extent, it's seasonal. We know that during some portions of the year it tends to decline, and some portions it goes up. I also would say that I think our accounting and our ability to keep track of the number of incidents is improving, and so that may contribute to some extent.
The numbers in this story are horrifying. Over the past 4 years, terrorists have killed over 400 people in attacks on trains in places like Madrid, London, and now Mumbai. Acts of terror uniting communities around the globe, and in 3 cases, 9/11 in this country, 3/11 in Spain, now 7/11 in India, adding a numerological element to the sickening reality. The details now of the shocking rush hour attack in India from our correspondent Fred Francis.
The bombs hit the world's most crowded commuter trains at evening rush hour. Well-timed and well-placed carnage at the heart of India's financial hub. The lead first-class cars of each train.
We thought that bomb blast. We heard a blast. We thought an electrical wire had snapped. People jumped out of the train immediately.
8 bombs in all on 7 trains, police said, placed in high luggage racks, causing many head injuries.
And it's very easy to target a large number of people in a small space. So, transit systems are a very obvious target.
The screaming of the wounded, the running of escaping survivors, and driving monsoon rains multiplied the chaos, hampering emergency teams. CNBC reporter Tina Tandon was at one of the destroyed trains.
So everyone was panicking. Everyone was under a lot of stress and tension because they didn't know where to head and where the next blast was going to hit.
The terrorist blast crippled India's largest city, temporarily knocking out the phone system. Senior U.S. intelligence officials tell NBC News that today's attack was more likely than not the work of Kashmiri rebels. The rebels have been fighting for independence from Indian rule. The militants were suspected in multiple bombing attacks in a Delhi market last October that killed dozens. Today's attack had a chilling effect on India's most vibrant city.
It's a very dark message, it's a very sinister message to India's financial and political elites that we can hit you where it hurts.
Tonight, India's military is on high alert. Its prime minister has called emergency meetings, its police are arresting suspects, and its people are badly shaken. Fred Francis, NBC News, London.